Hi everyone, this is Sewon. A quick note before we start. Apologies for the audio quality this time compared to previous episodes. I made a mistake during recording and ran into a technical issue, so you might hear some background noise, and especially Michelle's volume may go up and down a bit. Thanks for bearing with us, and I hope you enjoy. Welcome. You're listening to
Off the page.
Hey Michelle.
Hi, Sewon.
I didn't get to see you today.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Plus, I didn't get to see you today because I wasn't in the office
Yeah.
I had some other duties to do for work.
Mm-hmm.
And as I already sent you the photo, I
Yay!
got 안희연 씨님's 뭐라 그래야 돼? Autograph. Yeah, I just told her that, Michelle,
Uh-huh.
you are a big fan of hers. And she was very grateful.
Yay.
And she actually told me to say hello and thank you.
Oh, really?
고맙다고
Oh.
말씀해 주세요라고 하셨어요. And then, like, I didn't prepare a copy for my
Uh-huh.
own because
Uh-huh.
it's work. So I don't really want to, make a
Yeah.
fuss about, 저도 사인 받고 싶어요. like, I didn't do that. But then,
Yeah.
like, she brought her own 당근밭 걷기 book. And but we already prepared a new copy for her too, for the
Uh-huh.
photo shoot of the day. And so she gave me her own
Ooh.
book
Ooh.
with also an autograph on with my name on.
Oh, can I see the what she have brought?
It says
Wow.
이세원님께 함께한 시간 감사합니다. 펼쳐진 것과 펼쳐질 것들 사이에서 내내 화나세요.
Wow, I think poets always surprise me. They even write so beautiful sentences when they are, signing the books or something. So,
And what's really good about this book that she gave me is that it's her own book, and therefore she kind of bookmarked some of the poems by folding like this little
oh,
corner of paper, which makes it more
yeah,
special because she did it. So
yeah,
yeah, I was very happy. I was
wow.
like, yeah, I try to
Like
be like,
special edition for
I
Sewon.
know, and I try not to become too much of a fangirl mode. So I was like, 감사합니다, like trying not to be too passionate about yeah, she giving me the present, yeah. So, anyways,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'll give it to you tomorrow in the office.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah. My
Um,
pleasure.
I'm really happy. Like,
She actually saw some of the poems that you underlined.
I'm kind of embarrassed.
Because I specifically told her that this is the index that Michelle made, and like I'm sure this is her favorite poem within this book, and like I mentioned that, and she kind of browsed through the
Mhm.
book, and she was like, "Oh, I'm so thankful for the
It's
support and
it's
love."
so it's so it's been so shame that I have read that book at the library. Like I borrowed the book from library last year and I almost finished the book. So I technically read like most of the book, but still the one 안희연 시인님 signed for me. That one is so clean that like I cannot show my show her that I've been reading most of her poems in that book, but like I was just, a little bit kind of like disappointed by myself. Because I was actually planning to read all of the poems once again before getting the autograph, but I kind of failed on it. I didn't make it.
I actually have a confess to make with that regard. Whenever
Uh-huh.
I go on like business trip, like overseas business
Uh-huh.
trip that we often do with writers,
Yeah.
I do the same. I try to do the same by, reading all the books of his or her, like his or her works. But then like almost all of the times I fail, right? So what I do is that 작가님 안녕하세요, and then like we get on the plane, right? And from that
Yeah.
moment on, like straight 12 hours, I just read like I once finished like 3 consecutive books
Wow.
within 5 hours. So I was like, okay, this guy's done. So I at least have this much of knowledge about him, and now it's about her. And I go through all the all the books she has because I download all the ebooks.
Uh-huh.
It's almost impossible to bring a paperback. Yeah,
That's
on
true.
plane on the
It's too
plane, right?
heavy.
So I just go because most of the times like the seats on the plane are separated. We intentionally make it that way to make everyone comfortable,
Yeah.
So like they have no idea what I'm doing. So it's just I just 진짜 많이 읽어 빨리. Like that's when I'm most like focused. So like to sum up, I think plane is the best place for me to do the 밀린 숙제.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, so how was your any updates?
I mean, like,
You do have some updates to share.
yeah, I do. I mean, like, we took a week off last week, and honestly, I had no other choice. Because I was in the middle of moving, and thankfully, Sewon, like, you were super understanding, so like, we decided to take a short break last week.
Guess what? I loved it. No, I love doing this. I know. Don't get me wrong, Michelle. I love doing this, and like yeah,
I can get it.
yeah. But like post processing of making this recording and like editing part, it's so it's a lot of work, right? So just having a Saturday with free of work
Yeah.
was very relaxing. I had a very good Saturday.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So how did it all go?
So like my actual move happened on Sunday with the movers, 그 이삿짐 아저씨. But the whole process started like way back, way earlier. I had to sort out my stuff and pack everything up and throwing things out. And on top of that, like I was moving in with a friend this time. And she moved earlier than me on Thursday. So I was helping her out like pretty much the whole time as well. So like I was technically like from Wednesday to Sunday, I think I've been like working from the morning to the night, I think. Yeah, and it was all very physical. So like I was on my feet for the entire time. So by like Sunday night, after I finally showered in my new home and sat down, and I saw my legs, and they were all swollen, actually.
And yet, Michelle, I'm very proud that you didn't miss any swimming lessons last week. You didn't, right?
Actually, I missed the like swimming lesson on Thursday.
But you still continued on Tuesday, right? You didn't skip Tuesday lessons.
Yeah, I think I have a right to be proud of myself because like I didn't go to like swimming lesson on Thursday because that was the day that my friend moved in. But still, I was on a period actually, so I couldn't like go to swimming lesson like even if like I were like not moving. So like I'm kind of proud of myself by like doing everything done. And like I've only lived in a studio apartments before. And like in Korea, most of the studio apartments have their own furniture in them. For example, like wardrobe or like dressing table. But this time I moved into a place with 2 rooms and 1 living room. So they don't have kind of like those kind of furniture. Like 옵션 가구가 없어요. 그래가지고 so I had to get everything myself. And I ordered a wardrobe for my room, but it's not arriving till early May.
Sorry, what did you order?
Wardrobe, 옷장.
Ah.
So So like for now, all my clothes are like just packed in a like plastic boxes, and I just pulled out like some of the clothes that I have to wear during this season. So it's kind of a mess right now, but still I'm happy. I'm happy. I have Kia Tiger's uniform behind me, and it's my friend's, and she is a like huge fan of the player Kim Do-yeong. And I'm personally, I think I can say that I'm a fan of him.
Oh, because you like his style, like playing style.
I like his playing style, and I think he's kind of handsome. And I personally like want to mention like one fact about Kim Do-yeong. Like, do you know that one of the like famous lines or famous meme for him is that 니 땀시 살아야?
Is that even Korean?
니 땀시 살아야.
Oh, it literally means I can live because of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Jeollado dialect, it is because like he is so like loved by like Kia Tigers fans from Jeollado or Gwangju 광역시. So like 돈이살, like the abbreviation form of that word is 돈이살. 도영아 니 땀시 살아야.
It's not something that he said it. It's the fans said.
Yeah.
Oh.
All the fans are saying that 도영아 니 땀시 살아야.
I get it. Like, I don't know him, but yeah, okay, I get it.
I think he was kind of a like hero of the team in 2024. Like he is an amazing player, and he has that kind of kanji, like the like aura that great players that have. He has that, I think.
The only thing that I know about the Gia Tigers is that they've been very good for the last 10 years. Yeah.
Like and when they were like head to Tigers, they were like really great. Anyways, how was your weekend?
No, nothing.
Or
it's pretty
nothing.
uneventful. Thanks to you. Yeah, I had a very relaxing weekend, and then nothing much happened, which is really nice. And like from this moment on, I'm expecting to meet your new roommate. I'm not talking about.
Not the human one.
I'm talking about that handsome guy over there. I actually just heard him meowing.
Yeah, he's keep meowing here. And I'm now living with a cat, and he's not just any cat, but the one you've probably seen on our like podcast profile and thumbnail.
On Instagram, right?
And so he's basically a black cat, and his name is Imja, Black Sesame in English. And his personality is super friendly, and he's kind of talkative. So I think there would be good chance like he might start making guest appearances on our episodes, I think.
I would love to talk to him.
Where is he? I cannot find him actually. Like he's literally adventuring all the rooms in the house.
So he's still figuring out, right? Like he's not completely, familiar with the places, with the place yet. Yeah. Okay.
The one thing that surprises me is that like he's not biting us anymore, because he did that in the like previous house of my roommate, and he's not biting any of us. So I'm not sure why he is very gentle these days.
Probably he likes the place. He likes his new place.
Yeah, I think he is quite like comfortable with this place. Yeah, I mean, like I've never expected these kind of things to happen to me. But like I've never had any like animal friends in my life, like living with my families or with me. And frankly speaking, like I was not very comfortable with this guy at first. And like it's been like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 days living with him, and when I opened the door of my house, like right after like coming back from the swimming lessons, like he was like meowing at me, and I was like, "Hi, like how have you been?" like, and like he followed me after to the bathroom while I was like, washing my swimming suit, and he was keep meowing at me, and I was like, I'm okay, there's nothing like going wrong, like you don't have to be like, you don't have to be worrying about me, like, since like I think he was worrying about me because I'm using water,
Which means that he doesn't like to take a bath.
yeah, he does not enjoy it,
Okay.
I think. And it's kind of very like, it feels amazing that like I can be friendly with this guy in a very short time. So like it's kind of like surprising to me. And Sewon, like I think you should like visit us and meet this like handsome guy here one day.
Cat, right? He's a 금성무 cat.
Yeah. 금성무 in 중경삼림, Chungking Express, or like 타락천사. I cannot remember. Like it was kind of like,
He's according to Michelle, he's just as handsome. He's very handsome like 금성무 in 중경삼림. So yeah, I really want to meet him in the near future, hopefully.
yeah, you'll meet him, I think.
Yeah, hopefully. He's saying hi again. Hi.
Yeah.
Yep. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
Yeah. Should we start talking about our book?
Move on to our book.
Love and Flaws, part 2.
I mean, like, as we mentioned in the previous episode, like, this book is made up of 10 short stories. And in part 1, we focus on the first 5 ones. And they mainly explore relationships between women. And in this episode, we'll be looking at the second half of the collection, and which touches on themes like relationships between daughters and fathers, or women in later life, and the idea of forming alternative communities outside formal and institutional structures, I think. So, like, the first one of the, like, second part of the book is the short story called Pam. I think it is the, like, Korean, like, 표기 of farm. The English word farm, I think.
Like, I don't know much about agriculture, but then, these days is one of the things that often people say about when it comes to agriculture is smart farm, which means smart farm. So I think for this episode, like her father, the protagonist's father is also doing smart farm, kind of smart. It's not smart farm, it's 친환경 farm, right? It's eco-friendly farm, right? Okay, yeah, whatever. So smart farm is the term that we would often encounter when it comes to agriculture in Korea. Yeah. And speaking of the second part of the collection, I should say that I prefer the second part more than the first part. First half of the collection.
I kind of expected that.
How so?
Oh, because you once said that you kind of like fall for the stories that with the like elderly people.
Oh, yeah.
And there are like very great ones with elderly people, like grandmothers. So
I think I personally prefer the stories that deals with communities or like generations or like, and I think the second half of the collection is slightly lighter and more humorous than the first half of the collection. So yeah, I can't help but just, I just prefer, funny stories.
Yeah, so like, I mean, it's a story of a father and a daughter. The father's name is Taejin and the daughter is Hena. And Hena, like, kind of like won over a naming contest of a certain certain apartment complex, and she won the prize money of that, and she decides to buy the land for farming in the countryside. So like she goes to meet her father in the countryside, and you know and all the like kind of like awkward things happen there. And you know I mean, do you remember the part that where Hannah brings a very expensive cake for her dad, and it's not even easy to get one, and Taejin just casually suggests giving it to some like stranger ajoshi and completely forgetting about it. And that moment honestly made me so frustrated. you know since like there is some kind of description of the dad, the Taejin, about like things like he has been a very righteous person, like who can throw himself into student movement without hesitation, but still he acts like he is putting a greater cause above everything else, and even over his own family. And that aspect of him has always given despair to his daughter, Hannah. I mean, I don't know. I kind of felt like, I felt sorry for Hannah for this story. He even forgets the birthday or like even the age of Hannah.
He's kind of a 철없어, right? I think he's quite immature in that way. Like he doesn't have the parent character in that way. So if we get to have a parents like that, I think children get to be more mature. Like
Yeah.
in contrary,
Yeah.
그 애들이 철이 있어야 되는 거죠. Because their parents have no 철, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a very interesting contrast between like, the parents and, children relationship.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to talk about I also wanted to mention about the apartment name that she
수지 이꼴로지야? Yeah.
what is this 공모전 in English? Like there was this,
Contest to exhibit? I think it is just called as contest.
yeah, like open call.
Yeah.
There was, yeah, I didn't know that actually like apartment building companies, like they do this open calls or like contest to name their apartment complex.
Yeah.
And what Hannah won this contest, and her idea was to, I think the apartment was somewhere in Suji, right? Yongin Suji in Korea. And oh, by the way, Yongin Suji is a suburb of Korea, a suburb of Seoul, so it's very close to the main part of Seoul, and therefore, like I guess a lot of 신혼부부, newlyweds, or a lot of people live in 그 용인 수지. And yeah, by the way, so she named it 용인 뭐라고? 용인 에콜로지아, right? And like we should know that ecologia, the term itself, is very, I don't know. Is it even like, is it Italian or French? Like they want to name it, I think Koreans like to name their apartment complex as very, in a very French way or Italian way or whatever.
Yeah, I think like it kind of intended to be sounding like French because it is not ecologia, it is ecologia.
So yeah, most of the times like the apartment names in Korea are very pretentious, I should say.
Yeah.
And like I get to see a lot of them in Sejong because I visit there every weekend, right? So like, yeah, it's almost boring to make an apartment name in English. It's 뭐 골드 something or center central or something like that. It's already like out of trend. You have to be more sophisticated, and therefore you should use either like French or Italian or German.
Yeah.
So, like, my dad once, we were just driving, and he actually found the name of the apartment complex, and it was written in English. It was written in alphabets, so it wasn't even like the Korean name was not even there on the main gate.
Yeah.
So it was W something.
Yeah.
So my dad was like, 저거는 워크야? And turns out it's German, so it's some German or Dutch or whatever. So it's V, right? So it's 베르크, something 베르크. So my dad he's got so furious that like, 야, 이제 영어도 모자라서. So like, how the hell would people know that it's 베르크? It's
Yeah.
normally like people would read it in English way, which means like it's work or something like W, right?
Yeah. I mean, the name that Hannah coined for the apartment, it reminded me of 괴법 르네시대. Have you heard of that place?
괴법 is a name of a place, region, right? 괴법동.
Yeah, it's in Busan. 사상구 괴법동.
괴법
so-
이름 뭐라고요? What was the rest?
괴법 르네시대.
So it's something to do with Renaissance, right?
So I was like looking up on it when I was in Busan with my mom, and it was actually meaning that the term was like basically it was trying to be French because Rune means reborn in French, and Site is city. And it's the name of the shopping mall actually, not the apartment. But still I thought that the main core sense is like vibing together with 수지 용인 에콜로지아 thing. So yeah, now English is not enough.
Yeah, English is not enough.
Or
yeah.
French.
Yeah. Yeah. English is not enough to fill their 허영.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to mention that. And there's a rumor. Yeah, I think you probably heard this. There's a rumor that
What is that?
the reason that the like apartment complex names these days are so complicated and like so sophisticated and like just mixed up with all the European language is because 며느리s, like the daughter-in-laws, don't want their 시어머니s to visit them. Have you ever heard that? It's 뭐 modern 뭐 central something 뭐 르네시대 something, right? So it's so long and like they have no idea, like oftentimes like elderly people like 시어머니 have no clues to remember all the names of the complex, no, the complete name of the apartment.
Yeah.
So like yeah, I just there's a rumor that 며느리s prefer to have their apartment names as long as possible with full of foreign language just to prevent their 시어머니s to visit them. So sad.
It's so funny.
Oh my god. Anyways, yeah.
I was like, I don't know, the frustration Hannah feels over her dad. I think it is quite common because basically Hannah can be called as a feminist in contemporary Korea, and the dad's perspective on women, it's quite outdated, I think. Because do you remember he is saying that all the women that he met when he was on the run, like when he was doing the student activist thing, the women hit him because all of them liked him.
Well, it's nothing to do with Daejin being not keeping up with modern day feminism, right? 그거는 I think that's like a natural yeah.
But still, I kind of felt like it is related to how Daejin reacts to Hannah's 비혼주의. Like she desires to not to marry anyone, and actually Daejin is really furious when Hannah says that she won't be marrying anyone, and he even says that it is pathetic thing to believe in something in that way. And Hannah is so kind of very much upset about the fact that her dad is saying that to herself, because like he's been like throwing himself to those kind of beliefs like 주의, 뭐뭐주의, 뭐뭐주의. So like I think it won't be very, happy thing to hear from one's dad.
I know. And like, what makes this very funny and ironic at the same time is that, well, what Michelle is basically saying is that, he himself used to be the person who used to fight for, those
Yeah.
democracy or liberation and all the new things that, Korea back then didn't have, right? So he fought for that as a student activist. So like Hannah, his daughter, like has this hopes for him, thinking that he used to be like that, and therefore, he should understand what I'm, standing on, and like, I think she kind of expected him to be more understandable in that way, she deciding not to get married and stuff like that because, I think Hannah kind of expected him to be more generous or more understanding or things like that, and in order to explain, like, I think it's a better idea to explain what kind of student activist or student movement that like participated back in 1980s, I think. And because like I think it's also mentioned in 그게와 혁명, that dog and revolution, about NL and PD, right?
NL and PD.
Yeah. So like, NL stands for National Liberation, and it focuses on the liberation of Korea, thinking that Korea back then was not truly independent. And I think NL people wanted their independence specifically from the US, I think, back then. 뭐 미국주의, 뭐 그런 것에. He was, I think that NL people were more geared towards having independence from, those big countries like the US. Whereas PD, 그거는 People's Democracy. It's called PD. And it has a slightly different view that I think the real issue in Korea back then was about, 그 계급. What's 계급 in Korea? Like Korean society,
Class?
especially, class inequality, and therefore they're geared more towards to, capitalism, anti-capitalism, to be exact. So when it comes to like student activists in 1980s, like people were mainly divided into two, NL and PD. So like, I've never lived in those times. So like probably when they used to, ask people like, are you NL or are you PD kind of thing? What's more important is that he used to be in that student activism, and he used to be the very active one, very enthusiastic, and yet now he's in his 60s or 50s, whatever, and like he just ended up becoming a 꼰대 who doesn't even understand what his daughter is thinking about or like wishes for. So
yeah, and Hannah is also like kind of frustrated over the fact that like Taejin is always keep saying that you should do the agricultural thing as well with me, and but still like I think Hannah doesn't want to be a farmer or something. Not because it is related to I'm not sure, but I think Hannah is just not interested in that part of the society, maybe.
I agree on that, and I think the reason why Hannah wants to be a farmer is because, like you said, like she doesn't really want to be a farmer, but it's more about she is fed up with city life. She's like, she tries to have a permanent job in in cities, and it's been failing, and she's just fed up, and like she's sick and tired of surviving in the city life, and therefore she just wanted to have a relaxing life in suburb, and as her father is working as a farmer, like she might as well just try out as a farmer as well for herself. But she's not really interested, I think. Yeah, and I agree with you on that.
I mean, I think she feels like Taejin is, kind of like forcing her to do the things that he himself is used to. And, when I think that when Hannah is listening to those kind of things, she feels like, there are like very huge gap between herself and her dad. And it is really hard to fill in, and it happens to like many dads and daughters in like modern times, I think. Especially, I don't know, I'm not sure whether I'm like, it is possible for me to say things in this way, but Korea has gone through very, dynamic changes over like after the like liberation from Japanese colony era. So, there are even much more huge gaps between the generations, I think.
Yeah. We've made this far in terms of development and in terms of economic growth. But at the same time, since it was too fast, since it was done in a very fast paced, it was very fast paced, and therefore, like, there are just, as you said, gaps that are empty. Yeah. We just had no luxury to think about, like, we just had no luxury to stop and think about what we're missing out on.
And we don't know how to fill in the gaps, actually. So, I think that's the core problem of these kind of situations.
But it's funny that, like, he's very like you said, he's very furious about Hannah not getting married, but at the same time, he's divorced, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, it's not divorce, like divorced 당했다. Or like, yeah.
Like, his wife left him.
Yeah. He's got divorced, I think.
So, like, I think I just want to leave the climactic scene of this story not told, because it is I think it is quite impressive one, and I don't want to like spoil the pleasure of the readers, like future potential readers, so.
This is so pathetic.
Yeah. Something very pathetic happens to Hannah and Taejin.
Again, like, while reading this, like, I think if I were a teenager, like in my teenage, I think I would consider Taejin as a cool dad. Who's not really, he's different from just any other typical fathers in Korea, right? So if I were a teenager, I would find it very attractive, like, not attractive, but like, I would find it very cool. But now in my mid to late 30s, if I were to have a father like him, I think 진짜 너무 짜증날 것 같아. Yeah.
좀 들어라.
Yeah, like Taejin for Hannah is almost like her son, right?
Yeah.
To take care of, since her mother left him. So it's, the last part of the story is very funny, but it's very frustrating at the same time. And, Pam. That was Pam Farm.
That was it. And there is the second story about daughter and father relationship. And the title is 그게와 혁명, The Dog and the Revolution.
Before reading this story, before reading the book, Michelle actually said that, like, this is her best one out of all 10 episodes.
Yeah.
And now, after reading every episodes, I totally agree with her. I totally agree with Michelle. And 그게와
this
혁명
one
is
so well written.
It is so
very
well written.
Great one.
Mm-hmm. And it's very funny, and that's what I really like about this story. Yeah,
funny and at the same time heartbreaking as well.
And I really like the, should we get into the summary first?
Oh yeah, I think I can do that. Our narrator is a woman in her 30s, and she is named Sumin. And the story takes place at her father Taesu 씨's funeral after he passes away following a long illness. And one thing that stood out to me is that Sumin and Sujin, like Sujin is Sumin's sister, younger sister, refer to their father as Taesu 씨, which is a bit unusual in Korean society because, first of all, calling your own father by his name and plus she, already feels pretty uncommon, I think. Because while she is a respectful form of address, still it's typically used for peers or like people younger than you, rather than for someone older or in a higher position. And Taesu isn't even his own original name. Like, he was actually born with the name Hyungju, but after he got sick, he changed his name to Taesu. And it is some kind of a name chosen for its meaning, something like wishing for a long life. I think the 고모, like Taesu's sister, has paid for that name to 철학관 or 사주모쟁이 or something. Yeah. And at the funeral of Taesu 씨, Sumin insists on being the chief mourner, 상주 in Korean. And there's this scene where she argues with her grandmother who says, how can a woman take that role? In Korea, it's a tradition that usually, even though there is a 장녀, first daughter in the family, but still she cannot take the role as the chief mourner at the funeral. And Sumin literally fights for that position with her grandmother, and Sumin wins, kind of wins. And when she is, doing the job as a chief mourner, she does very striking thing, I think. After greeting the guests, she takes out a small notebook and starts delivering messages to them. And she is speaking as if she were her father, relaying short stories she had wanted to say to each person. And she is even doing some kind of 성대모사? 그 impression of her dad. And when people are getting lost, sayings from Taesu 씨 via Sumin, all the reactions are very different. I mean, some people cry, some people laugh, and some even get angry. And I think in that sense, Sumin is faithfully carrying out her father's last wishes. And then, together with her sister, Sujin, and their father's old friends, 성식이 형, she carries out what Taesu 씨 called a final revolution at the funeral. And that revolution turns the entire funeral into complete chaos. So this is the basic plot of the short story.
Yeah. First off, I you mentioning about 성식이 형 and about my dad's notebook, the 치부책. It's almost works as a 치부책, right?
I think so.
At the funeral, 성식이 형 approaches to Sumin, and he would try the normal conversation that would happen in the funeral, right? So I go something oh, 네가 고생이 많다, oh, you're doing a great job, I appreciate that, and your father must be very grateful for you, and stuff like that, those kind of encouraging words, the casual conversation. But she just suddenly cuts off and she goes 성식이 형. So 성식이 형 just startles, right? He just what's going on, and he goes 뭐라 그랬더라?
and I think her first words were 울지 마시고 태수 씨의
No, he calls him first, 성식이 형. And 성시경 goes like,
Ah,
응? And she goes like, 울지 마쇼. 태수 씨의 지령이요.
yeah, don't cry.
Yeah.
It's like
Direct order.
지령. What is the 지령 in
I don't know, direct
English?
order from 태수?
Yeah, it's an order from Taesu and don't cry.
And then like she whispers like 300만 원은 꼭 우리 수민이에게 갚아주셔. 당신 러시아 간다고 했을 때 내가 붙였던 돈. So which means that 300만 원, it's around 얼마야? Like
3 million Korean won.
yeah.
And
Yeah, so the 3 million Korean won that I gave you when you decided to go to Russia to do your mission as a PD, as a People's Democratic activist, just make sure that you pay back to my daughter Sumin.
we are laughing like this, but actually I cried a lot, and I cry every time when I read this one. This one is my favorite scene, and there is a like very much beloved dog in the family, and I think it was I think Yuja, the dog's name is Yuja, and Yuja is technically a best friend of Taesu-shi in the family members, I think. And, Sumin kinda, retrospect on one of the memories with the father and Yuja, and they are dancing together, and Taesu-shi is, holding Yuja's front paws, and they are dancing without music, and they are moving in some kind of a very playful and ridiculous way. I mean, the depiction of that moment, it's really tender and at the same time a little bit heartbreaking, I think. Taesu-shi has been very ill before death, and Sumin remembers the very lively moment of her father with the dog, and Sumin knows that he cannot go back to that kind of era. And because I think every family members of Taesu-shi knows that he cannot be fully healed, but they are just doing doing everything to just make him a little bit comfortable, more comfortable. So every time I read the scene, I kind of cry.
It's very heartwarming to just imagine that on his deathbed, like what I imagine is that probably the setting was between in the room. I think it was only Sumin and on his deathbed, he doesn't have many days left. And, it's very heartwarming to imagine that a father and a daughter is, setting up a conspiracy of doing the surprise event, And, I think there's a point where Sumin asks her father, why do you want to do this? Isn't really necessary. And I think he kind of replies by saying that, this is who I am, I'm kind of the type who messes up. And therefore, I want to do my finish. I want my ending to be that way, And it's, just imagine that is very heartwarming. And at the same time, I prefer Taesu-shi more than Taejin in the story Pam. Because at least Taesu-shi, he also was a very enthusiastic student activist at that time. And when there was a time when I think there was a point where Taesu-shi confesses that he used to be NL, National Liberations, on the NL side, whereas Song Shiki-young was in PD, and therefore he actually was trying to complete the mission as a 뭐라 그래 he was basically supporting for the North Korea, right? At that time. So, and therefore, in line with that, I think Song Shiki-young was decided to go to Russia to complete his mission to make the South Korea as a communist nation or something like that. He had a big mission. And at the same time, Taesu-shi, well, to begin with, he was an NL, but at the same time, he finds out that his girlfriend his wife now is pregnant with Sumin. So
yeah.
he basically gives up on the things that he believed in the previous years,
yeah.
right?
It is.
So,
Yeah.
and there's a depiction narrated by Sumin saying that, he now is 58-year-old guy and he's such a conde and he doesn't have, like, he has no idea what women in these days are going through. Like, for example,
Yeah.
like he asks this question, like, do all women these days, Korean women these days, believe that men should be prepared for their housing before they get married? Like kind of what
Yeah.
집을 다 준비해야 된다고 생각하니, or something like that. So like he obviously doesn't really find females in Korea in a favorable way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's such a conde like that, and she's not. Sumin is not satisfied with that. She's unhappy with that. But at the same time, she understands. Like she's mature enough to just 그 짐작해, assume that her father must have gone through a lot of sufferings as well to
Yeah.
to act as a father, to become a fatherly character and give up on all those beliefs that he had in the past years. So I think there is more 유대, like 뭐라 그래? What's 유대감 in English? Like sense of community,
Bond.
yeah, bond between the daughter and father compared to the
Yeah.
pam 부녀, pam father and daughter.
Yeah.
Because at least I think Tetsushi tries his best to, like, he tried his best to give everything that he could offer to his family, and at the same time his family members also, they are very appreciative for what he's done.
Yeah.
So I think I I'm mentioning this in specific because after reading this whole story, I went back. I went online and Googled like Soyeon 작가님's 그 이상문학상 articles, news articles and stuff like that, and I found out that there's a comment saying that now this type of writer talking about NLMPD and feminism like gets the award and stuff like that. 그런 뭐라 그래?
Yeah.
운동권이랑 페미니즘 같이 얘기하는 작가가 상 타는 때가 왔네. In kind of a sarcastic way, right?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to emphasize, or I just wanted to mention that this is not this is not only about 그런 운동권 or like a feminism. Like it's basically, I think the writer 예소연 작가님 tries to portray the bond among the family members, and I think that's what makes this story very heartwarming and very moving, and I think that's why you find it very sad at the same time and you end up crying, I think.
Yeah. I said that between Hannah and Taejin in Farm, I said that there is some kind of a gap that cannot be filled in. However, like in this one, The Dog and the Revolution, Hannah kinda, finds a way to, align her life with what Tetsushi believed in. And, it's really a heartwarming thing to see because, I wanted to mention the movie One Battle After Another in this episode when we are talking about this, 극예와 혁명, the dog and the revolution story, because I saw the movie after reading this one and I found there are very similar elements in the book, in the story and the film, because there are both daughters with former revolutionary fathers. In this case, men have fought for big ideals like workers' rights or anti-imperialism, but still both of the dads are in everyday life could be very contradictory and kind of very difficult person to hang out with. In the film, Leonardo DiCaprio plays a bomb expert in the revolutionary group called Frenchie 75. And, also Tetsushi said that he also distributed leaflets, like 삐라를 뿌리고 다녔다거나, or even, taking out factory work under false pretenses, like as part of the like labor activism. Those kind of revolutions were possible in the generation of Tae-soo or DiCaprio in the movie, but still, when it comes to Hena or Sumin's generation, there aren't many possible chances to, go out for the revolution. And I thought that both of the story and the film throws a question like, in a time when revolution seems to be no longer possible, how do we push back against the like systems we live within? And when I was just thinking that when I was reading the ending part of the story, that when Sumin joins Tae-soo in carrying out his final act of 회방, interference, I thought that she was being freed from something in her life, and I'm still thinking about what she would be freed from, and I was just thinking that these kind of questions can make this story even more compelling to the readers when we have these kind of questions in our minds. I thought. Do you have anything like more to say about this one?
Yeah, I think pretty done. Like yeah.
Yeah, me too. And this one, regarding this one as well, I don't want to spoil the fun part. So, like, we'll just leave it to our listeners to like read it by themselves and enjoy it. Enjoy the climactic scene.
Very good one. Very well written.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we move on to the next one? 분재? Bonsai?
Speaking of 분재, it's kind of no, I'm not talking about the story itself. I'm talking about the etymology, the word itself, 분재. Some words, there is a term in Chinese, 분재. There's a Chinese way of saying 분재, and there's a Korean way of saying 분재, which is 분재, and there's Japanese way of saying 분재, which is bonsai, right? And I 진짜 don't like the way English speaking people say some terms in Japanese way. Maybe this is because I'm Korean. Like bonsai or like origami.
아, yeah.
그다음에 뭐야?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, things like that. So yeah, which is natural. Like yeah, chances are that they like Japanese word would be the same the first time that they encountered that concept or that word. So like yeah, which is 어쩔 수 없지만 whenever I say bonsai, I feel like I'm so frustrated. Like I really wanted to talk about I really wanted to pronounce it as 분재, not bonsai. But then like if I say it, like most of the times like foreigners wouldn't understand. Like what is 분재? Like yeah, so I should switch back to like bonsai and they get it, so which makes me really frustrated. So anyways, yeah, 분재.
I mean, this one was my second favorite among the like in the latter part of the book. This one was my second favorite, like after The Dog and the Revolution.
Could you explain why?
I like the main character, Chayeon.
Yeah, I thought so.
I thought that she is a very compelling character. The character pushes against the usual stereotype of a grandmother. Like we have kind of the idea that grandmothers are always endlessly warm, selfless with their grandchildren, and live this kind of wholesome, almost like saint-like life. And Chayeon isn't like that at all. Like, for example, when her granddaughter Yoonjae says like she's coming over, like it's not just something she welcomes without hesitation. It actually tires her out. Like she has to get dressed properly and prepare something nice to eat and everything, like make everything presentable. And she like, even though she actually expresses her feelings towards like her granddaughter's visit, like because like I remember that she kind of very 그러니까 오지 말라고 하잖아요, in a very cold way. and I personally like that part.
She's not, Chaeyeon is not like a normal, like a common or like the usual grandmother type that we
Mm-hmm.
normally meet, right? And I still like, I find Yoonjae very lucky to have a grandmother
Yeah,
like Chaeyeon.
yeah. It is not that Chaeyeon did not love Yoonjae. Chaeyeon definitely loved Yoonjae, but still, Chaeyeon has her own way of life, and those type of person that she needs privacy and certain private spaces for herself, and she doesn't want to be disturbed by that. So I thought that she is a very steady person.
I wish more Korean people are like this.
Yeah, I agree.
It's, yeah, when it comes to relationships, I
Mm-hmm.
think Koreans, I know this is like overgeneralization, but I still believe that Koreans are in the process or in the progress of learning how to make a healthy distance
Uh-huh.
between one another, I think. You know, I like you said, Chaeyeon is the person who likes like who know how to make relationships and at the same time knows how to keep herself,
Uh-huh.
right? And it's very interesting to say that, you know, most of Korean people will find Chaeyeon character as cold, kind of.
Yeah, yeah,
이렇게 차갑다. I think it's either A or B to Koreans. Like if we were friends,
yeah.
for example, like if Michelle and Sewon are friends, it's either one way. Like there's no in between. Like and
Yeah, it is
like
kind of an all or nothing
yeah,
situation.
yeah, yeah. I think most of the I think most of the Korean relationships are formed that way. And like I don't think Koreans still like they're figuring
Mm-hmm.
things out to set boundaries when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to asking questions or
Mm.
asking or caring for others, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, 그니까 너무 and what I liked about Chaeyeon, one more thing that I liked about Chaeyeon is that even though she seems like she has those kind of certain very certain boundaries around her, personal things, but still she still feels like kind of turmoil in herself, because usually people tend to think like when people are getting older they become like very calm, very detached over everything. But still, Chaeyeon gets angry to her husband, like I mean like her 그러니까 돌아가신 남편?
Her
죽은 배우자이지.
yeah, her husband passed away early.
Yeah, her husband passed away a few years ago, and still she gets angry at her husband and her daughter Sujin and Yoonjae as well, and to the 대모님 at the like Catholic church, because I thought that like she says that she knows that her life isn't something that she is supposed to devote entire self into, but still, I thought that she kind of feels the urge to devote herself to the people that she loves, and she is fighting with that urge, because she's a very mature person, and she knows that it is not a like very healthy way to keep a relationship with a close one, but still she feels kind of very like complicated feelings towards her like loved ones. And I like that part because it felt like it is so frank, and at the same time very correct feelings that everyone can resonate to, and I like that.
And I think that's why at least I feel Chaeyeon is not as old as other grandmas or other old
Uh-huh.
people, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, that liveliness or that urge or that passion
Uh-huh.
towards her
Uh-huh.
people, I think. Like you said, most of old people tend to become more indifferent to things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, they don't really care much. And like, I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm not sure. Like, I think it's mostly hormones that make them feel so,
Mm-hmm.
detached and indifferent. And yet, like you said, like you mentioned, Taeyeon is the character who still has that fire in her. And
Yeah.
yeah. And I think that's what makes her look not senile or not old.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
And also this story moves back and forth between two perspectives. And one part of the story is the Chaeyeon's part, and the other part is actually the perspective of Yoonjae, the granddaughter, because she comes later, like basically Chaeyeon is dead at the like very first part of the story, and Yoonjae has to help clear out her grandmother's home and show it to the potential buyers. And the very last scene of the story is what Taeyeon sees at her like moment of death, and I really like the depiction of that part. Taeyeon is demonstrated as a character that cares for many things, especially the plants that other neighbors had abandoned. And when she is lying down at the veranda, when Chaeyeon is lying down on her balcony on the day that she passes away, she can, smell all the, rich aromas from the plants that she has grown, and also like it feels like she is covered with all the vitality of the plants that she has cared for. And at that moment she feels very comfortable and very calm, and she just plans for the tomorrow that she's gonna like have something for the like next morning's meal. And she is just thinking about that, and she is very very much calm, and she just feels like she is going into a sleep. And I really like the part. And I kind of wished that maybe one day in the like future I'd want those kind of death as well.
Yeah, those that kind of death, and plus, I wish I could be like her when I get old.
And this is a very personal comment, but I don't have very various memories with my 외할머니, the grandmother from my mother's side, because she basically didn't talk to me very often. I asked about it to my mom, and she said that she is not the talkative type. She was not talking. She was not talking to even to my mom's or my aunts or 삼촌, my uncle as well. And my mom thought that she was very much exhausted from her like early age, because my grandfather passed away when he was very young.
When your mother was very young.
Yeah, yeah. So like I was like after my grandmother's death, I was just, wondering what kind of what type of what type of person that my grandmother would be, because I didn't have very much clues for her. And after reading this story, I was just, kind of imagining my grandmother, someone like Chaeyeon actually. I could feel that my grandmother loved me, but still, like, I basically didn't have any chance to talk to her. So, like, it was kind of, I felt like I've gotten a chance to think about my grandmother once again
So
from this
is she
story.
still or
She passed away when I was in university, when I was a university student. That was it.
it's it's good for you that you turn out to be a person who actually understands
Mhm.
your grandmother's
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. Like she was kind of actually she was kind of a mystery to me when I was young. Because I've heard many of my friends saying that their grandmothers are very friendly or very, 다정해 to them. But still my grandmother was like kind of like she seemed cold when I was young. So I was just always wondering why.
You wouldn't ask any questions like 할머니 이거 어떻게 해요? Like 이거 뭐예요? Kind of you wouldn't like you didn't.
Yeah, I didn't because I was a very shy kid when I was young. And now I can think that she was a shy one as well.
I'm pretty sure your grandmother would be very happy to hear this.
Yeah.
That you
And I
truly
hope
understands
so.
yeah her and yeah. Great.
Great.
Shall we move on?
Of course.
Yeah.
We can.
And the next one is
The
Dobble.
next one.
Dobble.
Dobble. Did you like the story?
그 뭐야? No. Let me just be clear.
Things
it's
are
not like
getting interesting because I always love to hear negative comments about certain
no. I preferred 내가 머물던 자리.
Yeah. Me too.
I preferred 내가 머물던 자리 too much that I kind of forgot about 분재 or 도불.
And Dobble is kind of a story that can be like a pair of 내가 머물던 자리.
Right.
I kind of enjoy the story, but still, I basically like all the characters, all the main characters of this collection, but still, it's really difficult to feel positive feelings towards Jin-kyung. Do you remember her? The one that always falls for, those kind of very fragile men. And those kind of men that always say that like, oh, I'm gonna die, those kind of suicidal types.
She goes like, what if he dies because I'm not?
Yeah. Isn't it kind of a, savior complex or something?
Michelle, I just found out why I don't like this episode.
Why?
This whole like dispute and like conflict amongst themselves. This whole story reminds me of these days how there's a rap dispute between Swings and Big Natty, right? Like I don't know anything about the rap scene or anything. Like I don't even know what Big Natty talks about about Swings, but like the only thing that I highly I completely resonate with when it comes to Swings defense is that those chat from on Instagram of Swings saying that I'm in my 40s. I'm like so like he first tried to defend himself, right? That he tried to explain himself, like explaining all the details of why I have nothing to do with this. But then 그걸 하려다가 just 피로해. Everything is so fed up and like tired, like he goes like, oh, you know what? I'm in my 40s. Like I'm so 피로해요. I'm so tired even talking about it. And that kind of vibe is already within me as well.
Yeah.
너무 피곤해. 그래서, them talking about, talking about bad things about 진경 and 승혜 and like everyone is just like 너무 피곤해.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just found out why I don't like this episode.
I can totally agree with what you were feeling towards this, dispute among, three women.
It's so tiresome.
And, especially to be honest, I hated the character of Jin-kyung actually. Because, Jin-kyung feels betrayed by 승혜 언니, 승혜. Because, like, 승혜 decides to marry her boyfriend who works at a major law firm. And she decides to basically settle down in that married life. in Korean term, it is said 취집을 간다.
Can you explain the term? Like, yeah, since we might have a listener who doesn't really understand the Korean context.
The word 취집 is usually used with the women who seems like marrying to a richer man, because basically 취집, the word 취집 is the like combination of the two words. 취업 and 시집, it is the like it is 취업 means getting a job, and 시집 is like woman marrying a man. So like it is like people think when people are saying that, oh, that woman is going 취집, it means that she is marrying that guy because the guy is rich and she is basically getting paid by that man.
So basically, she doesn't need to get a job to feed herself, right?
And I honestly, didn't understand why Jin-kyung reacts with such a strong sense of betrayal. Jin-kyung's not gonna, save Seungye's life or pay for Seungye or live the life for Seungye or something, and she is upset about it so much. And I felt like it is so petty of Jin-kyung, actually.
I just don't have the energy to deal with all this good drama, I like, like my Instagram algorithm always takes me to 그 swings 그 feed 그 meme every even 2 to 3 times a day, and like every time I 진짜 맞아, swings. I resonate with you,
Yeah.
yeah.
He is the totally relatable one in this fight.
Do you you've actually seen it, right? The face expression. He's so frustrated to just even thinking about it, and it's just like I'm in that age, so like just no Dobble. There's too much drama for me. So no, sorry, no.
Like, it's a kind of a like happy thing that I didn't enjoy the story very much as well, like Sewon. So I think we can just move on to the last story. 내가 머물던 자리. In English, it is called as Where I Stayed. I think that can be translated in that way. And like, speaking of this story, like you said that you really enjoyed this one. And why did you enjoy it?
Very interesting, and very interesting form of family, which is very rare, and even like none. There's I think it's very difficult to find a family format in this way, and yet I think there's a lot of positive things in that, and like if I were to go further, I think this kind of family type should be encouraged in the future within the society. And I think like it's, we don't have to encourage it. I think it will be less special in the near future, because chances are that people in modern day Koreans, they don't get married, and therefore, but they seek camaraderie, or like they seek community, right? And I think this type of family structure is very 긍정적이라고 생각해요.
I agree. And there is a very I think this particular quote from the story was used in the promotion of the book as well. 우리는 외따로 태어나서 홀로 자신을 길러낸 사람들이고 지금은 같이 살고 있어. And the English translated version is, we were each born alone, raised ourselves alone, and now we live together. This is what one of the main characters, 정선, says to explain this alternative family that she has formed with total strangers.
Mm.
And I thought that this kind of, this sentence kind of had the strong sense of, gives what we might seek in the future. And do you remember in the previous story, Dobble, our main narrator Kylie? Kylie is not her real name. It is her nickname on the Airbnb app. But Kylie meets the man, the host of the Airbnb, and Delma, like old lady from out of nowhere, and even though it was a very it was for like a few hours in the middle of the night, but I thought that three of them were like, three of them would be forming the alternative family like 정선 if things were like much more lucky for them. Our Kylie failed, but 정선 made it.
But again, like going back to my pedo fatigue about Dobble, the character, I don't even like the name Kylie.
Kylie?
Just name it, like naming herself as Kylie just makes me so 피로해. I'm just, 스윙스가 되는 것 같아요. I think I'm becoming 세윙스. Why would you name yourself as Kylie? 진짜 너무 피곤하다.
Kylie mentions that she named herself as Kylie because she was just, looking at some kind of short form video of Kylie Jenner on an Instagram or something. And, isn't it kind of funny? Like, if I were Kylie, this narrator, if I were watching the videos of Kylie Jenner and I was holding my phone with the Airbnb app on it, still I won't be naming myself as Kylie.
Right? Like, for example, it's just same as we were watching some short clips about Kim Tae, for example, and I randomly named myself as Kim Tae, right? 뭐야 그게? So random and like just so like there's no chance that I'm like any similar to Kim Tae, right? So
and nothing is stopping her from like naming herself as Kylie. It is kind of.
And just thinking about Kylie Jenner, just and that the Kardashian family, just thinking about them makes me so 피로해. So like, yeah, Dobble wasn't really for me. Yeah.
아 진짜 웃기다.
And yeah, turns out 정선 is in Kunsan, and yeah, she formed a family
with two old ladies and
a boy.
Little boy.
And a little boy. And yeah, it's very, and the whole story until the very last part, the main narrators, 그 의심, her suspicion is whether the boy is 정선's son. And like, it's almost like 확정적이야. Like, she was almost sure that, he's definitely her son. And yeah.
And actually, the boy was not 정선's son. And the boy just chose to live with these three ladies.
And like, and like 정선 says something like, Sewon, you gotta believe me. It's him that chose me. It's not me who chose him. Like, he seems like the boy seems like it's not really depicted in detail, but like it seems like the little boy is very, like, he's a very interesting character. And I really like the name of the family. 뭐였죠 그게?
손진영주.
손진영주.
It is like 4 combinations of each family member's last name. And each member calls the others not with the first name but with the last name. It is like 주씨, 손씨.
Right.
And the thing I wanted to mention was that there is a character that takes our narrator to Kunsan to, setting up a meet up with Jongsun and Seon. The girl's name is Mirine. And Mirine actually says to Seon that, do you want to live with me? 같이 살래요? And, by the way, did you feel that Seon has romantic feelings or feelings for Mirine? Did you feel that?
What?
이것도 못 느꼈어? You didn't feel
누구가
that?
누구? 누구가 미리네? Who's what?
No. Seon, I thought that Seon likes Mirine.
No, that's just, girls could...
아니, 근데 나는 이거는 진짜 그거라고 본다. 왜냐면,
Huh?
anyways.
아니야, no. I wanna...
기다려봐. 그럼 펴봐야 돼요. 기다려봐요.
Mirine is the type who's very, carefree and like she doesn't really think of others. Like she doesn't really care what others think of her. And like...
And Seon seems to be like attracted by that aspect of Mirine.
Yeah, attracted by that. I get that. But then there's no indication of Seon is romantically interested in Mirine. She just there are certain attributes that Mirine has that Seon doesn't have, right?
아니, 기다려봐. 나는 미리네가 왜 좋을까? 눈썹이 가지런해서, 목소리가 부드럽고 나른해서? 라고 하잖아요. 이거 친구한테 이렇게 생각하냐고. 이거 좀 그러니까 100%는 아닌데 묘하다고 생각했어, 이 부분.
근데
아니 무슨 친구를 보면서 눈썹이 가지런하고 목소리가 부드럽고 나른하다고 생각해. Isn't it kinda a little bit like subtle, maybe?
Maybe if I am maybe I think it's natural to think like that because
진짜?
for example, really? For example, really? Girls could think other girls pretty, right? Especially when we're good friends. For example, Michelle and I are good friends, right? And I really like her, in a friend way.
Uh-huh.
And I think when girls like each other, they tend to, praise a lot and they try to find good aspects of their friends. So for example, Michelle, well, we talked about it. Michelle has a very good voice, a very soft voice. Or something maybe I like certain aspects about her, Michelle's appearance, right? And I might not talk about it outright because, it's kind of rude or, I just don't want to talk about it, about appearance and stuff like that. And maybe but, deep inside, not deep inside, inside, I wouldn't say it outright, but still 미셸은 이런 게 예쁘구나. 이런 게 예쁘구나. 이런 게 좋구나라고 생각할 수 있지 않나? 아닌가? Are you serious? I don't want to be dumb. This is
No.
traumatic almost.
I thought that it's kind of my personal feelings or personal guts toward the relationship because when I'm looking at my friends, and when I feel certain, for example, when their eyebrows are pretty, I just say it out loud.
Oh.
And I thought that Seon was not telling Mirine that she thinks that certain part of Mirine is pretty. And I thought that it was kind of a secretive feeling towards Mirine. And in that secrecy part, I thought that there was some kind of romantic feelings.
Because I would tell you those things.
Yeah.
I would tell you that I like you. We are not in a romantic relationship, right? But I still like you as a friend. So I think I'm pretty much the type who expresses my 호감 to you, right?
Yeah.
좋아한다고 계속, for example, to you, I think I'm pretty much 계속 그렇게 표현을 하잖아요. To you, right?
You do.
But she's thinking in herself, like, why would I like her? What? 아, 정말 그렇구나. I wish 예수연 작가님 was here.
Yeah, me too. Anyways, I was mentioning about like romantic feel, maybe like possible romantic feelings of Sewon towards Mirine because while reading this story, I was reminded of the song Koi by Ken Hoshino. Have you heard of him?
That's my
He's the very famous one.
너무 좋아요.
아 진짜? 아 근데 그 노래 가사 Do you know the lyrics of the song? Yeah, that one.
가사. Let me look up the.
Oh, then do you know it's the theme song from the drama We Married as a Job? And you know, and the line that I wanted to mention from the lyrics is in Korean it is 내가 사랑했던 것은 당신의 손가락과의 얽힘, 두 뺨의 향기, 부부를 넘어서 가자.
뭘 넘어서 가자?
부부 관계를 넘어서 가자. You know, in English it would be go like, what I loved was the way our fingers intertwined, the scent of her cheek. Let's go beyond being a married couple. It can be translated in this way. And the phrase, going beyond being a married couple, it felt like it's about wanting a connection that isn't defined or limited by a legal or conventional idea of marriage, but something more personal between two people who choose to live together. And I felt this kind of, you know, connectedness among Sonjin Yeongju family and also with Mirine and Sewon as well. You know, and I personally thought that this story is about wanting to cross the boundary between yourself and another person and wanting to step into their space. And at the same time, you know, you become painfully aware of the distance that still remains between you. But still, I felt like the characters in the story, they kind of have the courage to go over the distance and go together with, you know, others that they love into the another, you know, phase of their relationship. And that's what I liked about this story.
It's very smart of you to bring up this song and like have it make make a comparison between the relationship of 손영 뭐라고 손영
손진영.
손진영주. Interesting.
I like it that you already know the song because it was much more easy to explain.
I like the more I talk about like romance and love with you, I think I'm relatively more 둔해 when it comes to love, I think. Yeah, I should admit.
But it doesn't matter. Do you remember that? Like, I was the one who was arguing that in the episode with The Art of Sarah. I was the one arguing that Moo-young was into Sarah. Maybe I'm that. Huh?
Maybe that's true.
Yeah, and I was just trying to say that I'm that kind of person who ships everything, like shipping the couple certain relationship or something.
Like, are you the type of person who not only about your relationship, but like, are you the person like, let's say like you're in a room full of people, like, are you like the person who who naturally reads the room? Like, for example, Sewon has something to do with this guy or something like that. Like, do you read that vibe?
I have to say that I'm not 100% accurate, but I still think that I'm quite, you know, I can read the room, I think.
So you are the one who know how to read the dynamic of the relationship that's
yeah,
going on
yeah,
between.
yeah.
Oh, 그렇구나.
When it comes to the romantic ones, I think. Not the things like, oh, like this person does not like this person. I cannot sense that.
But you can sense, 쟤네 뭐 있는 것 같다.
Yeah. There's a thing between them. I can sense that, I think. So, this book ends with, Sewon's, thinking about her, realization of her.
Yeah. 그 사랑과 결함, this book, the whole book. Yeah. I'm very grateful for 예소연 작가님 for making me realize how 두뇌 I am when it comes to,
어떡해.
그렇구나. 오케이. 알겠습니다.
Yeah.
But anyways, the last episode, this 내가 머문 자리?
내가 머물던 자리.
내가 머물던 자리. It was very good and I really like how 작가님 tried to make Sewon and 정선 reconcile again in a very sensitive, in a very smart way. Not a smart way, but then I just like how the author depicted 정선 and Sewon, especially when they get to reconcile again.
Yeah. I liked it too.
So this is pretty much it, right? And it turns out her new novel was released early April.
Yeah.
너의 나쁜 무리?
What was the title? Yeah. 너의 나쁜 무리.
Your bad gang. Your bad group. Yeah. I'm very interested in her new book as well.
Yeah, me too.
And I thank you for introducing 예소연 작가님 to me. I get to,
And I'm happy that you really enjoyed it.
Yeah. 예소연 작가님 taught me a lot of things. Okay. I think we talked about the Project Hail Mary, right?
Yep. Yeah. We are gonna be covering Andy Weir's novel Project Hail Mary and also the film version of the work as well.
Yeah. Thanks to Michelle again. I got to watch the movie a few weeks ago, and I really loved the movie, and I decided to, read the book, and I thought it was a good, I thought it would be a good, it would make a good episode to, make a comparison between the book and the movie, and we will,
Yeah.
I really want to merge Rocky.
And I also want to buy the huge Lego block version of the ship Hail Mary. There is kind of a expensive one from Lego blocks, and I really want to buy it.
I think that would cost a lot, I think. 몇십만 원 하지 않겠어요?
15만 원?
Oh, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, but still, I've never bought a Lego with my own money.
Oh, I did that a few years ago.
Oh.
For Christmas present. As a Christmas present, yeah. It's almost my Christmas routine. Christmas ritual.
진짜.
Yeah.
That's a great routine. I mean,
I start from late November till Christmas that I slowly 조립해 pieces by pieces and finally completed on the Christmas day. I try to do that. And it's very 기분이 좋아요.
I'm gonna try that as well this year.
Please.
Yeah. 좋을 것 같아요. It would be great. Yeah.
All right. So the Project Hail Mary, it is for next week.
Coming up next.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening. And okay, that's it.
That's for this week. Thank you.
Bye.